I'm going to explain to you how I start a painting. I find a subject. This is a real simple subject, wide and bottle across the studio. And I mean, I do a really quick sketch on that, not a lot of detail. And then I do a value study. Value studies help you. You can get all of your information you need for the painting. You edit it. This is the color that I'm using right now is just neutral tint. And I'm just kind of getting an idea, a feel, what mood, what are you trying to say with the painting? On a value study, you don't put a lot of detail into it because you want to be able to do 2 or 3 value studies, and it takes, 5 or 10 minutes each one. One value study might show where you're using more washes. One might use more dry brush stroke. It gives you an idea. You do a lot of editing when you're doing a value study. There's a lot of things that I can leave out. I can add things. I can move shadows. Just whatever I feel. If I want to try a new technique, I can try it here. And I didn't have to spend a lot of time drawing this. So if I can I can make mistakes, and it doesn't hurt my feelings to make the mistakes. Right there, I like to take the paper towel and while it's still wet, and give yourself a direction for light. And that's just one technique. I mean, there's all kinds. I mean, I'm going to take this to almost a finished stage of a painting. I don't think I'm going to finish it all the way, but we'll see. So after that first layer dried, you can see I'm coming back in with some of the darkest darks. I really want to see the impact of those highlights, those shadows, highlights, saving some whites. But you notice how much, like I didn't come back in with a lot of water. And this needs to be darker. So that means use less water. Use more paint, less water. A lot of the rules that you follow while you're painting and watercoloring on a finished piece, you don't so much have to worry about that here. Just relax and have fun. Sometimes people say, well, you can't go over something more than once. You can't go dry brush over something that's already dry and blah, 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 back and forth, back and forth. But right here, I tend to like my value studies a lot better than some of my paintings because in the value study, I'm just relaxed and I'm looking at what I like, what I don't like. I'll do a lot of wiping off, things of that nature. It frees me up a lot more. And you can take something very simple, like for example, on that table there was a wine bottle and there was a little canister for water. On the right hand side of the table there's a bunch of paper towels and stuff just stacked up, and I'm looking at shapes and making an interesting painting. I hope this helps you. Don't be, I mean, these studies, value studies, they are what will make you a better painter. Instead of looking at something and trying to copy it exactly the way it is, you can create a painting. You can say something with the painting. I think you could see in the beginning of this video, it was it was a wine bottle on a table, and then we make it look interesting. That's the goal here. What are you trying to say? I don't know what I was pointing at right there. I think, oh, that hard line. There was a hard line there, and I like lost and found edges. So I came back and wiped that line out just a little bit. Now there we are, dry. Now this is going to be a lot less water, almost straight paint coming in here, and I'm going to emphasize some of these shadows and hard lines. A lot of dry brush work at this point. There's you another view of what it is that I'm painting actually. That's what I'm looking at. So this is where my light's coming from. And here we go. The value study, such an important tool. I know a lot of my artist friends, and this is how they start everything, and I think that it's a great way to figure out all your problems, and then you eliminate them when you go to the paper for a true painting. I mean, not true, to where you're going to work on your finished painting, it makes everything so much easier. You know where to put everything. A lot of people say that they don't work from their photograph or their reference photo anymore after they've done their value study. Once they've done their value study, they do all the work from the value study. So just playing around with the neutral tint here, hoping that it looks good. Hoping that this is informative for you guys. It's fun anyway. It doesn't take very long to do this. So if you have questions, leave me some comments, questions if you have anything, and I'll try to answer it the best I can. Tell me whether or not it was informative or not. And like I said, this is just neutral tint that I'm using. Go here and just bouncing around and playing and trying to connect the painting. Somebody once told me when they looked at a painting, you know, and they're starting to paint, they said, how do I get from this side of the paper to this side of the paper, from left to right, with everything touching? You know, you have to make a map. So. There we go. And just playing around here. Another thing I hope you learn from this video is you don't have to wait to be inspired to paint. Take something, just a very simple object, and you can say so much with value. It can make a very interesting painting. You can inspire others with making this, you know, very dramatic painting out of something so simple. So I know I used to look for that perfect sunset, or look for that light bouncing off of the building in a certain way, or how somebody's hair fell. I was always looking for this perfect opportunity to find something to paint. And after a while, I realized I can take anything and make it into something interesting and make a great painting out of it. We're just going to go back and re-emphasize the darks on this. Just going to keep adding a little bit here, a little bit there, just kind of playing with it, get an idea, and going with it, you know. It's kind of hard to talk and paint sometimes. Most of all, I decided where my light was coming from and what was going to be light, what was going to be dark, and I stuck to that throughout the painting. If you can kind of get a plan and you go with that plan, it makes painting a lot easier, instead of chasing yourself around and around and around the painting. So I know where my lights were, I knew where my darks were. Kind of went with that. This is the little quick, fast brush strokes. This is the part that I tell people all the time. If it takes too long, it's going to look bad. Do it fast, as fast as you can, and it'll look better when you do it fast. On the back wall back there is a lot of paintings, so I didn't, you know, I needed something to kind of break that area up, and by putting those dark lines right there, and you're making them interesting as well, but do you see how the shadow has more of a three-dimensional effect against that wall back there when we add a little bit of a more opaque line on it right there, a darker value. just want to be suggestive with your brush marks. Over here, I want to let something touch the edge of the canvas off that wall too. I said canvas, I meant paper, but so I'm going to use a little bit of Chinese white. Chinese white kind of helps me to bring out some of those highlights that I might have missed. I like the opaqueness of it, just you don't want to overdo it with this. Seriously, you don't want to paint an area with this. This is just small touches here and there, kind of emphasizing highlights. If you get into painting too big of an area with this, painting too much, I mean, you just totally take all the interest out of the painting. It begins to look flat. Don't overdo the highlights. Just don't overdo it. Just a few, and I'm going to be done here in just a minute. A bit too much. Now I rub it out with my finger there. Okay, I'm just kind of going to touch this up. I really need to stop messing with this, but I really like it. I can tell that I need to stop messing with it. Yeah. I need that little spot to go away. I don't like it, so I'm going to put some clean water right there. Scrub it a little bit and just dab it away. That was just a little bit too strong of an area right there. And you gotta be careful not to damage the paper when you're doing this. There we go. Get that to move away. Now I gotta camouflage that area a little bit. Just throw some design back there, some quick little lines or something right there. There we go. Just something to pull your eye away. There we go. See? Yeah, I like that. Good. I hope the videos that I'm posting on here are getting better and better. I'm trying to do better at explaining things. I know how hard it is to learn on your own or learn from videos or books, or when you don't have a teacher right there showing you every step of the way. Take what you can from all the artists that you like and just kind of put it in a toolbox, and you have a whole selection of tools and techniques that you learn and you can use. Have fun, and there's rules that we have to follow, but enjoy breaking them as well. I don't know if that makes sense to you or not, but just a little chaos. There we go. Well, enjoy the rest of this video and watch for the next one. I think I got this little image in my head of a piano player or something I want to do on the next one. So I'm going to do a tutorial on that one as well. So. hope you've enjoyed the video. Subscribe to my channel, and I'll have something else interesting in a couple of days for you to look at.